Hi everyone, and welcome back to another video. I am going to be discussing the Cam Newton and Dr. Bryant interview, and this is for my love, relationships, and dating playlist. You guys know that I got married a year ago, but prior to that, if you're watching this, it's 2024. Prior to that, I had dated, I hired dating coaches, I would talk to therapists, and I learned to mark and avoid certain kind of men. And watching this interview was highly triggering for me because I have dated men like this and I have felt the response that he's giving and I felt the defensiveness. And the reason why I titled this video Emotional Men and Logical Women is because he's actually very emotional, masking himself as logical. So I want us to watch this particular section of the interview. I want us to talk about a good partner and some of the benefits slash harms of dating someone with multiple children and some things to look out for. I was very fortunate to have been told from a very young age that if a man is willing to leave his child and then go create a child with another woman, there's something wrong with that man, unless there was something very deeply wrong with that other woman. And at that point, you're asking yourself, how old was he? Was he 16, or was he a full grown adult? And then if he repeats that situation multiple times, then he is to be marked and avoided because there is something antisocial about a man who proceeds to create broken families, which is what Cam Newton does. And I'm so glad that she rebukes him and stays logical while he gets emotional about his situation. So let's watch this together. I'm just going to move the screen like this and I'll stop it.
A lot of people see my situation and not think that I'm not high functioning.
Watch how he responds to her. She's going to ask him what situation for clarity, and he's going to get defensive.
Situation.
See my situation. That's a very vague question, and it's for you
What
to
situation are you referring to that they're looking at and thinking is not high function?
Just my life.
Your life entirely, or your life in relationships?
My life.
See, don't deflect. Let's stay here.
So he's getting emotional right now. She's trying to go deeper with him and he's getting emotional. So what he does is she calls him out. She goes, let's not deflect. So if you can't ask a man, if you ask a man a question that's very black and white or very succinct, and he responds like this, which I have had men respond this way, immediately no. Because what are you not even hiding, but why do you not allow yourself to share? You're being inauthentic at this point.
Here, your life entirely or your life in relationships?
Both, really.
And they think that you're low functioning.
No, I don't.
You just said people see your life and think you're not high functioning. The opposite of that would be low functioning.
No. Okay, so here you go. You're trying to take my intentions away from this. Is
even right here, you guys. He was very clear. She was very clear. She repeated back to him verbatim what he said. He said, people may look at me in my situation and call me, say I'm not high functioning. Okay, the opposite of that is low functioning. But he gets defensive and says, no, you're twisting my words. That's called manipulation. Mark and avoid. And the reason why he's doing this is because he is so emotional, because she has already stated several times before in this interview that she would not date a man who has children, which I actually agree with, and she's going to explain why, and I'm going to tell you guys why I agree with her.
Can I correct it?
Yeah, go ahead.
Or can I give you more?
Yeah, some more information. Heck yeah.
So I'm not married, right? I have beautiful children.
How many?
8.
I thought I didn't do my research. I thought it was 4, but 8. Okay.
No, baby.
Cool.
It's
by how
8.
many women?
3.
Remember what I said about men who drop off their sperm everywhere and he's going to say he takes care of his children, but we all know that the best place for a family is in a 2-parent home, right? Stability. And he's going to say something right now that I want you guys to pay attention to, but remember what I said. It's one thing to make a mistake once. It's another thing to repeat it and then to do so pridefully. This is pride. Men should have remorse for doing these kinds of things. If a man is not remorseful for the way that he is creating broken families, he has a mental problem. As my mom would say, he got a mental problem.
And this is the kicker. I want more. Now,
By multiple women? What's the intent
I
of this
just want
saying? Or by
God
your
to bring
wife?
him. I just want God to bring him.
Leave God out of it. This was never the way that God intended for children to be brought into the earth. I'm sorry, but this was not his design. His design was for children to be brought into a loving home with two parents. And I hate the Christianization of this culture. Is like, God ain't got to do with you sleeping around. He really doesn't. He has nothing to do with that. You are outright denying and going against what he has called men to do, which is find one wife and procreate and take care of that wife and kids.
Oh, okay. And you have, so you just.
Because my point is this. My desire to get married is lower than my fear of divorce. So, as you would say it, Dr. Bryant, you said it, I didn't say it. I will agree. I'm just taking my time.
Drinking and driving is
I'm going to let this play. Hold on.
a decision that could change your whole world. You can face a life-altering injury or potentially death. Your decision to drink and drive could permanently a friend or a designated sober driver. The only decision that will change your world for the better, pulled over, paid for by NHTSA.
He's like, here's the kicker. I want more. That's what, and then he goes, my fear of divorce is greater than my fear of getting married. No, you have a problem. Men, there's a lot of men who walk around and say like, oh, I don't want to get married, right? If you guys are single and you're dating and you're older, you know that a lot of men are like, oh, why would I get married? Marriage is a trap. So you will give a woman, you will not force, but you will ask a woman to carry a child, risk her life for you, risk getting STDs for you, risk dying on the deathbed as she gives birth. And then he has money, so he'll have to spend all of his money for child support. You do that rather than get married, you have a mental problem. You are unwell.
You're not taking your time.
I am, though.
You're being very action-based. You're not taking your time. You're being very action-based.
I'm taking my time.
You're being very action-based. You have 8 kids with 3 different women.
Yes.
You are creating, procreating, and multiplying. That is not taking your time. You're being very selectively active. Okay? So you're creating, and disclaimer, the kids are innocent. They are beautiful and amazing. Anything I say has nothing to do with them babies, because I can't wait to be a mom, and I love the kids, period. But you are proactively choosing where you want to be active at and where you want to take your time. You want to take your time in having a wife because of your own fears. But you will, and I say this with all respect and love, what I'm about to say next, okay, Cam? But you will selfishly create broken families, even if you're in their life and you're a proactive father, and I believe you're an amazing daddy. I can only imagine with just your presence and knowing you thus far. But these families are still broken.
100%. Men who do this are absolutely selfish. And what I've realized is if a man will leave his child with another woman and say, okay, well, I'll just pay child support, but then go create a family with a new woman, he has a mental problem. He is unwell, because that means, what is wrong with you that you don't want all of your children under the same roof with the same 2 consistent parents? That is a natural desire for people who are socially conditioned well, people who have normal, healthy connections. This is an unhealthy man who is acting out of his emotions. Emotions say, I'm so scared to get married because I don't want to get divorced. You're driving, your fear is driving you. Emotions say, check this out. Oh, she's cute. I'll make a baby with her, but I won't marry her. Emotions. Logic says, if I don't want to get married, that's fine, but I'm not going to go create broken families. He's acting very much out of his emotions. And she is trying to reason with him with logic and say, hey, this is the logical response. The logical response would be, don't get married and don't have children. But he is acting out of emotion. His fear is driving his decisions. So, and here's the crazy thing, you guys. I actually think he does want to, I know he wants to get married. What he's doing is he's tying himself to different women to get that faux marriage feeling. This is something that you guys have to know about men. They will create this faux marriage feeling, right? By creating bonds and ties with different women. So he gets to play married for 3 years and then spit them out and go do the same thing with another woman. He's very much acting out of his emotions. He is not being logical. Mark and avoid.
Every child cannot have Papa in the house with them. So some child, if not all will end up with some kind of deficit without daddy being there. Now, you chose to do that. I'm not saying you sat there and woke up one morning and said, I want to be selfish today, so I'm going to go make a baby. Not saying that at all. But those are selfish acts at the expense of your fear. So at what point do you feel the fear, do it anyways? And yeah, that is a low functioning behavior to say that I am going to create these homes. Let me go better. I'm going to build these houses and put kids and these beautiful women and kids in them, but I ain't going to create a home in them. I'm going to wait till I dissipate my fear to find a wife where I'm still going to be fearful with, because there's no such thing as not having some type of nerve or some type of feeling behind marrying somebody.
Let me say this to you guys. One thing that I learned about healthy men too is that healthy men do not always act out of fear. Like they don't always, I'm sorry, how do I say this more clearly and succinctly? Healthy men understand that the fear is there, but are willing to take risks on that fear. So they may say, yeah, it's kind of strange that, I feel a little nervous. I feel a little this about getting married, but I love this woman more than I love that fear. And they will act. Also, this is like logically, most people that I talk to will say that they're scared to death, but still go through and have healthy, happy marriages. And if you really love a woman, that fear is going to be there, but it's not going to drive your decisions. And so this is just, ugh.
Who you're spending your life with. And then I'm going to build a home with her while all these other beautiful babies have houses. That's completely unfair and it's selfish.
Just tell me when I can solve.
Yeah, almost. That's completely unfair and that's selfish. And so, yes, you're taking your time in this department, but you're not taking your time in this department, which means you're compartmentalizing. And compartmentalizing never works. Compartmentalizing hurts everybody involved. Everybody who's in this box and that box and this box and that box and this box. And then here you go over here trying to figure out what box you're going to feed or entertain or do. Then you're looking outside to figure out who's your next victim to put in the box. It's unhealthy. And it's a huge dysfunction within our Black community that I truly believe personally, statistically, mental health wise, and community wise, that Black men will stop.
Yep. This is something that is very rampant. And you can play that and I will say this, women have to stop entertaining these men. I don't understand why you would want to get with it. And this is why you have to get to healing. Get to healing yourself, get into therapy so that this is so repulsive to you. A man like Cam Newton should be repulsive, not because he's a bad person, not but because, he was an ex-football player, but because his behavior is dysfunctional. And you should be repulsed by dysfunction. That is a sign of a healthy woman, someone who is repulsed by dysfunction. I would never marry Cam Newton, ever. Because this is dysfunction of the highest order.
Black men will what?
Stop doing that. That they would stop that dysfunctional behavior of compartmentalizing and creating houses, not homes, and then finally a home with the wife. And then you have all these other houses that are homeless, but you over here at some point when you do get a wife, if you do, I'm saying if that's what you want, you will, you'll get whatever you want. You're trying to create a home.
And while they're trying to create a home, they cannot give you and your family 110% because they have an obligation, not only like financially, but also emotionally to those other children and those women. So even though he's trying to create a home with you, eventually, he will not have the capacity to, because you got to run over here and there and give all these kids this. No, it's a disaster.
Totally dysfunctional and extremely, that's the epitome of selfish.
Watch how I do, guys. Watch his body language as she's saying this. I want you guys to watch his body language. He is seething. He is highly emotional because she's right. And because he has never been told that he's wrong. Most women come to Cam and go, yeah, oh yeah, okay, yeah, because he has money, he has fame. And so no one, you could tell his mama never told him he was wrong.
Extremely, that's the epitome of selfish. Epitome of selfish.
He's highly emotional. So I wanted you guys to see that so you guys can start to take inventory of what you find attractive. Why do you find that attractive? And what you need to change. Like, think long-term, think logically. What kind of situation is most logical for me to be in? You should be guiding your relationship decisions based on logic and not all emotion. Okay. I don't care if the guy's cute. He's got a lot of money. He has XYZ. No. What kind of person is he? Is he someone who is responsible? Is he someone who is selfish? Is he someone who is dropping off sperm everywhere and then telling you, yeah, I want to get married someday? No. This is why women are in these relationships with men for like 10 years. I hate there was a trend on TikTok a little while ago about, oh, we've been married. My husband said or my boyfriend said he'd get me a ring if I got 700,000 likes. Bye. Goodbye. Walk away. That man don't love you. If it takes 700,000 likes from strangers, he needs to be pressured into marrying you, and that's a no. All right, you guys, I hope you enjoyed this short clip on relationships, dating. And if you guys want me to analyze the whole interview, I can do that for you. It was really long, though. Anyway, you guys, I hope you have a wonderful day. Remember to get started on your healing so that you find dysfunction repulsive. Don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you guys in the next one.